welcome to day 4,622 of Mike's moving.
It's an exaggeration.
Feels like it though. Today, as you can see, we are piling a bunch of kitchen things onto this table. You might be wondering why. It's because I decided to completely redo the kitchen. So, let me give you guys a quick before-ish because Mike has already started clearing this out. So, this is the kitchen. It's really freaking loud and cluttered. There's a bunch of stuff here. There was a bunch of stuff here that Mike already moved. But I don't know if you can tell. The counters are just stained and whatever. And then this is this part of the kitchen as well. It's just kind of a mess. It's cluttered. And I'm kind of hoping to resolve that. Here's another eyesore, the kitchen. The tile floor. It's also stained and a mess. I could sweep it and scrub it right now, which I am gonna do, and it will always look like this. So this was supposed to be a surprise. It kind of still is because Mike's not gonna see the whole thing go down, but I am going to redo. Sorry. I am going to redo the kitchen. I'm going to redo the counters just to make them cleaner looking. It's still going to be white, but it's just gonna have a better appearance. I'm going to redo the floors using vinyl wood planks, so it's going to look like wood flooring. And eventually I'm going to get some backsplash on this area here, and also in those little areas there and there. And I'm going to start that tonight. So
it's gonna be a lot.
So I swept the floors and I'm going to wipe them down clean and then dry them and start measuring out the floors that I bought. So I'm going to show you really quickly an example of what I bought. So I got, what are they called? I got vinyl peel and stick like wood planks. And they look really good. They look like wood. So let me show you really quick. So they look like that. So you can see them here. They are super textured. So it feels like actual wood. And they are in a peel and stick, so they will stick to the floor. I got them in a darker color. It's not the darkest, but it is one of the darker options. I didn't want to go like light gray. I thought this was like a good in-between. So I got 2 boxes of those, and I think that they will cover. I think that the 2 boxes should be enough for my kitchen. I have to empty the initial box. It might be enough to do, 1 box might do my whole kitchen floor, but I didn't want to run out halfway or even with just a tiny bit left. So I got 2 boxes just to be safe. And I guess if anything happens, I'll have extra, I don't know, because you do have to cut these. So what I'm going to do is start laying them in the middle of the floor in a staggered pattern. It seems like you shouldn't put it in the middle of the floor like that, but you actually should. So I'm going to start in the middle of the floor, lay them in a staggered pattern, and then cut them if necessary, and probably is going to be necessary because the shape of everything in this room, it's not going to be easy. There's a lot of weird shapes here, so a lot of cutting is going to have to happen. So these are stuck down to the ground. I'm going to do this plank. If I can get it up. This plank next. As you can see, it still has like the sticky stuff on it. And as you can see, these are my gross tile floors that are actually cleaned. Like, I don't know what to tell you guys. So, it's bizarre. They're so sick. So you just peel this off, and then you're going to put it in the place that it was in when you like lined it up originally. So, for me, this one is going to go to the edge of the wall. I make sure that it is pressed up against all the areas it needs to be, and then I push it against this one here that's already pasted onto the floor so there aren't any visible cracks, because this is not like tile. You do not want to see grout or anything. And once it's all in place like I want it to be, I just kind of push down on it and make sure that it sticks. So like there's this space here, and this space is all up and down here. When I'm done laying the big planks, I'm going to cut smaller pieces to fit into these spots. So I'm just going to do exactly what I did again to a few more over here. Okay, so I've started laying the floor down. My camera died and I just don't have time to charge it and stuff, but so I stuck, all of these are stuck down onto the ground. The rest, like little white on the edges, have not been peeled off yet and they're not fully on the ground, so I thought I'm gonna do like these three here, and I thought it'd be helpful if you guys saw exactly how I did it, so I'm going to show you. So I'm just gonna do this one more time over here to show you guys. Plank, peel off the back. This one, I'm making sure it lines up with the other ones here. I lined it up with a crack in the tile, like one of the grout spaces, and I just make sure that it's even here. You can always lift it and adjust to make sure it is, and I push it up against the last piece of wood, or you know, not wood, and I stick it down. Move this out of the way. As close as I can to the other piece, and I just rub it into place. It's like applying a sticker, and then it's in place. Pieces over here need to be specially cut, so I'm just going to work my way back over there and lay the pieces that don't need to be specially cut. Okay, so the floor is pretty much laid for the most part for all the places that don't need to be cut. And the difference, I swear the lighting is really bad, but the difference is night and day. Looks so good. So all of these blank spaces that you see here, all the remaining blank spaces need to be specially cut. This is not laid either. This area needs to be specially cut as well. To go here, I guess I can lay this one down. Oh no, I can't, because it needs to line up with that line here. So I have to cut it so that it lines up the same as that. That's why I haven't laid that down. And then everything else that lays down here is going to also need to match this line, and then I'm going to have to make some of them longer to fill in all the way. And this is a longer piece as well, but it will need to be specially cut because it can't go all the way underneath the stove. And then this whole area will also need to be specially cut. Cutting it should be relatively easy. All you need is a box cutter, which I have there. And you just cut the top of the wood, like the top of the piece, and snap it, and I'll show you exactly how I do that. I need to cut these pieces of wood. You need measuring tape, a box cutter, and a pen. So I'm just going to measure out this area here and see how big the piece needs to be. I'm going to measure it out on this piece, and then I'm going to cut it. As simple as that. As simple as that. So Let's do that. So you make a mark, you slice it a little bit with the box cutter, and it should just snap in half. Don't need to do anything too crazy, you don't need any crazy tools. So let's see. Alright. Put the piece that I cut on the inside here, so it's not so visible. So that is the first piece, specially cut piece that's been added in. It's very flush. I like how that came out. I like how that worked out very well. So now I'm just gonna do that piece, that piece, that piece. Gonna do it like 6 more times. I literally just finished putting in the final piece in the corner over there, and this is what it's looking like. It looks so good. I love it. Wait, I love it. This is my first time like really just like taking it all in. I have to do these corners. As you can see, like I'm done. I'm not doing that. I did all of this underneath here. It all looks like one continuous piece. This is good, but it was not. It took me a lot of cuts to get like around here, underneath that. That corner took a really long time because that's like 2 or 3 pieces right here. This almost broke me right underneath here because there's like one skinny piece. I had to cut it in half and then cut it specifically to fit under that part of the cabinet, but then it also extends out underneath the stove, so the bottom had to be cut a specific way. A few here and here in that corner, and then that plank over here had to be cut in a very specific way. It was a little bit grueling, all those cuts and measurements and making sure everything lined up, but I have to say, and this is just a few 5 minutes out, so worth it. Holy crap, you guys, that was so freaking hard. No, okay, it wasn't hard. It just took a lot of time, and then I had to custom cut a lot of very specific pieces. I ended up using every single plank except for 2. So the 2 boxes that I ordered were the perfect amount. The floor looks so good right now. And the floors were, I don't want to say a little bit harder than expected. They laid down exactly as they should be. So actually, it wasn't harder than expected. It was just the shape of my kitchen floors made it harder because I had to cut so many more pieces, and they had to be cut in like very specific ways to like fit around like the counters, fit around the legs of the heater, fit around the legs of the stove. So I had to do like very precise cuts, and that made it harder. But in terms of like it just like laying down and sticking and looking good, that was actually super easy. So I'm really, 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 really happy with that. And it looks so good. It looks like, oh God. It looks like real wood floors. So I'm gonna show, and it feels like it too. It's like very textured. So I'm gonna show you what it looks like.